But in other news, a long-standing and deep rift between Sri Lanka's President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is threatening to topple the current ruling coalition in its present form. According to the latest media reports from the island nation, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe met at the Temple Trees, the Prime Minister's official residence, with the parliamentary group of his United National Party or the UNP, and has decided to form a new government under his leadership alone. So what will happen to the Sri Lankan Freedom Party faction headed by President Maithripala Sirisena and to the head of state himself? Well, members of the PM's group have told journalists, quote-unquote, that if President Maithripala Sirisena does not like the Prime Minister, he can step down. But other media reports from Sri Lanka indicate that the President has already met with the Prime Minister and given his consent to dissolve the existing unity government and for the Prime Minister's UNP alone to form a fresh government if he can muster a majority in the House. The President has reportedly also offered the support of some of his own party's MPs to ensure that support. The crisis comes within barely 48 hours of the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's New Sri Lanka People's Party sweeping the country's local polls, decimating both the President and the Prime Minister's own ruling parties. Now, spelling victory, former President Rajapaksa is now demanding a snap poll, a parliamentary election ahead of its due date of 2020. Analysts believe that if it is this demand that has motivated the move by Prime Minister Wickremesinghe to prove that his party has a comfortable majority and that all is well in the House of Representatives. All parties in the grand ruling coalition have reportedly agreed to support Mr. Wickremesinghe and his move. All right, joining me from one of the stories is WION Senior Foreign Editor Padma Rao. Good afternoon, Padma. What do you make of this new development, as it were, in Sri Lanka's polity?
Well, it's been brewing for a while, Ramesh. There has been a widening rift between President Maithripala Sirisena of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, at least the faction that supports him. Remember, the other faction is in the opposition, and many members of that opposition have also now gone across to Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa, former president's new party. And that new party is what has caused the current crisis in a way, by winning, sweeping or making a clean sweep of the local polls, which were held over the weekend. Now, the local polls are a bit like our Panchayat elections. They're called Pradeshiya Sabhas in Sri Lanka, but they're very, very crucial because they're essentially, if you win those polls, then you have your finger right on the pulse of what's happening on the ground and the people's immediate needs and requirements. So, by winning those, Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa has now the upper hand and has demanded a snap poll. That means he wants the parliamentary election, which was scheduled to be held in 2020, to be brought forward and held immediately. Obviously, he wants to cash in on his popularity at the moment. This is what has caused the crisis, and I think that rift, that long festering wound between, and the rift between the President and the Prime Minister is now wide open, and the Prime Minister, with the backing of his party, has decided to form the government, which means that first the coalition government that exists will have to be dissolved, and then Mr. Wickremesinghe will have to prove his party's majority in the parliament. And some reports, there are conflicting reports. Some say that the president is even willing to offer some support from his own Sri Lanka Freedom Party. But whether the UNP in return agrees for President Sirisena to stay president is very doubtful, because there is, as I said, a very, very wide rift.
All right, Padma Rao, thank you for your inputs. So that was WION Senior Editor Padma Rao joining us with all the latest.